Hello and welcome to Property Mastermind Podcast, episode 93, how to stay on track with your property development journey. This week, there's going to be a bit of head stuff, a bit of stuff about what you need to do to stay focused and stay on track or even get started. So many people want to do this and don't know where to start, don't know how to maintain momentum. This is going to be a great episode, so jump on into episode 93. Hey, welcome to episode 93, Bob and Hilary. Hilary and Bob. I forgot to say it in the intro, I think. Anyway, crikey, Bob.
Crikey, girl.
Crikey, episode 93.
Jeepers. Yeah, 1 week, so it's been that long.
I know, we are going so well. And remember what happens at episode 101?
I know.
Well, I don't know. Do we use him for this podcast or for my podcast? I don't know.
He's coming
Gary V
to Australia.
Has promised to be on my podcast, number 101. And what's interesting about that is I made that happen. I may have told you the story, but shall I repeat it anyway?
Quickly, do it.
I'll
It's
give you
interesting.
I'd been to an event where he was speaking and somebody asked him, it was in Brisbane, if he would speak on their podcast. And I thought, why didn't I ask that question? So I booked a ticket to New Zealand the next day because I knew he was speaking in Auckland a few days later, and I was the first person at the front of that line to ask him that question. And he said yes. So that's the level of commitment or drive that I have for success in my own life, and that's because I believe that we can do and achieve anything we like. We can, whoever you were in the past, it doesn't determine who you are in the future, and time is an amazing thing. It gives us the time to educate ourselves, it gives us time to heal, it gives us time to do so many things. So yeah, look, I'm already excited about this episode.
Yep.
I am just so excited because it's talking a little bit more about staying on track. But anyway, Bob, before I talk the whole episode away and you don't get to speak at all,
Do it.
let's talk about, which we don't do very often, our projects.
Oh, yeah.
We've got projects going on, so give me an update on a few projects that we're doing, and I'll update as well on a few projects that we're doing, and then maybe what's helped us stay on track for those as well. So let's start with.
It's not always easy going.
Let's start with, should we call it the big kahuna? Let's start with the big development that we're doing.
Oh, well, at the moment it is the biggest one.
And you know what? People don't know Bob Anderson, but this man in the background is such a legend. He just said, at the moment. Honestly, watch this space. He's always got something going on.
Yeah.
I always find out after the fact or 3/4 of the way during, but anyway.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, well, the current one you're talking about there is the retirement village.
Yeah.
Well, more of a country club than a retirement village on the Greg Norman Design Golf Course in Tamworth. So that's that one. A lot of people know that. In fact, there's probably a number of people out there at the moment who are investors in that project.
They are.
And we're still accepting investors in that project.
Oh, we plug there, Bob.
There's a plug for you.
There's a plug. Well, actually, I'm the investing liaison, so contact me if you would like to invest in that. It's a return on money, 9%, and
17 on the
and
MES.
17 on the MES, and we're paying quarterly on the way through. It's a great investment. It's your first mortgage security with
to
that.
Be an ad.
I know, sorry. Just carry on. Okay, anyway, back to...
So staying on track with that.
It's a good point.
Well, I mean, historically, when you go back, we dealt with council for about 12 months before we lodged the development permit. Everything looked sweet. And just before it was due to come out, council did a 180 and decided to knock it back. And so, bang, it was straight into gloves on, start swinging, you know. And so that resulted in a court case at the Land and Environment Court, which went for over 12 months. It cost a lot of money, which you don't get back in the Land and Environment Court. It's not like a civil action where you can win and claim damages. That's not like that. Whatever you spend, you lose. But at the end of the day, we got our approval, which was important. So, yeah, in terms of staying on track during that time...
I'm going to interject there because somebody asked me the other day about what made you go to court, what made you, go down that road. And what was it, Bob, that made you carry on? I mean, I know there was seed capital in there, and that fight, I mean, I think we assumed that fight was not what we thought it would be, a lot smaller than it was, as in financially. But what made you go down the road of doing it?
I mean, the quote from the lawyers and planners was about 150 to 200,000 to fight it. So I made my decision based on that. It turned out to be $1 million.
Yep.
Fortunately, I had $1 million.
Crikey.
But anyway, why did I go that path and challenge it? Well, council were very unreasonable. They stated all their reasons for knocking it back. Most of them were weak, superfluous, no substance. So in that respect, I definitely wanted to fight it. But also, I had some investors in there with me at that time with some seed capital. And to just walk away from that deal, I just couldn't stomach that. For one, because I would never leave an investor hanging or in a bad position, and I never have. But the other reason is I was bloody mad with council as well, and I didn't think they were going to win. But you never really know, in any court case, in land and environment court or in civil action or anything, you never really know because the law can do funny things. But anyway, long story short, I got the best help I could. I got all the right consultants. It dragged on and on and on and on. But we got the right result. But just keeping your head together, because that wasn't the only thing I was doing. I involved in other staff and then the whole property mastermind, of course, while all that's going on, And I've got a very good business partner as well who worked tirelessly, and I got the very best legal people I could get.
And you got me.
And I got you supporting me as well.
I can't believe I had to remind you.
I was just sticking on to the pure court case.
Oh, okay.
Not the...
Oh, I was definitely emotionally supporting you through that one.
Emotional assistance, yeah. But anyway, better days. So, because that came into COVID, we sort of came out of there with an approval, but then we're into COVID. So the whole construction certificate building permit stage was, horrendously slow.
Yes.
With council processing stuff and very slowly because the council officers were working from home. Oh, well, I'd say they were at home anyway. Not sure how hard they worked.
The council officers were watching Netflix at home.
Processing my stuff a little bit, and same with the consultants at the time. So yeah, look, that was just going forward, but at snail's pace, you know. And so
I suppose
you've got to keep your
staying on track with that, Bob.
Yeah.
Once you'd gone down that road, that the momentum just carried on. Okay, so
built up, until a point now where we've got Australia's top marketing company in there selling. We've got our builder locked in to build 100 houses in stages. We've got a factory now where we're building all the houses. We can build 3 or 4 houses at a time. Stage 1 civil construction's well underway. All the external works are well underway. We've got contracts. We're building houses for people. So we got there.
Yes.
Over the hump. But when you're talking about staying on track, I mean the project is sort of on track, although it went sideways with the court case. But keeping yourself on track.
That's kind of
head
what
on
this
track.
is. Yeah. And I suppose, you're 39 years in, so you've experienced lots of situations like this. Let's look at another project. What else we got going on? I do know. He can answer.
We're involved in the upmarket duplex project.
Yep.
So that's settling this week. So that'll be good. Market's still firm. We've got a great team. And then we've got that's just process. That's just processing it out.
And even with that one, like every development, it was supposed to settle last week and it didn't. There's always something going to hold something up. So how do we stay on track? It's the expectations, I think, aren't set to that exactly happens there. It didn't settle last week. There was something. There's always something.
Yeah.
And it's just don't be so held tight to what you expect will happen. It's what is supposed to happen and you'd like that to happen, but it's really quite a loose thing. And I think that when you can come to grips with that and learn to let go, otherwise you just become anxious, let down, frustrated.
Yeah, a lot of it's we know in the head.
Yeah, just be...
And how you treat things. Because property development, it's a fluid thing, it moves. Even when you're getting approvals in council, council... can change their mind on stuff, or they can all of a sudden come out, we want this now as well, And you've got to be flexible. You've got to be able to think on your feet.
Well, even my NDIS project, there was a massive turnaround because there was a state law, it was a federal law change, wasn't it? It was federal, that change.
Yeah. So, part of it was build times. because
because of COVID.
COVID as well, and then because it's in Western Australia, it's so much tied to the whole mining industry over there that once COVID was over, mining industry picked up and a lot of subcontractors headed to the mines.
So now you pay so much.
I mean, now you got a real shortage of subcontractors. So all those things. Fortunately, like you're doing that as a joint venture with a builder who's a good friend, and you work through those things. But time delays.
Yeah.
Lots of time delays.
So staying on track. For me, even with that one, because it's been so much slower. We all have those issues.
Everybody's suffered from that.
And then you might do other things with your money, or there's just always other things that can end up, changing the track that you're on. I was potentially going to have been doing something else by now, and then that couldn't happen. And
so that's that carryover from the whole COVID thing. I mean, it didn't just suddenly disappear when the lockdowns finished. In terms of construction, times are getting better, but they're still longer than they used to be by a fair bit. But that'll eventually find its own level. Things will get back.
So I think that when we that's just a little recap on our projects, a couple that we've got going on right now. We've got a few other students doing some pretty good things right now, and just seeing them just manage what the slowdowns of COVID and the issues with building and all the stuff that's happened that we all know about. I mean, Kaz is about to go to, who's about to go on sale this week, aren't they?
Yep.
Lady Kaz?
Lady Kaz.
Lady Kaz's project, so well done,
a lovely
Kaz.
duplex in a good area. A corner block, which is always, I love corner block duplexes. I like duplexes if they're not a corner block, but a corner block's great because you can do a lot with the design. So that's hers, a corner block duplex in a good area. So I got there,
And I don't know, she's definitely staying on track on her journey. Who else is staying on track that we can see? Well, you know what? Let's pull this back, Bob, to what is it how do you stay on track? And I think that it's really a mindset issue.
Yeah.
If we pull it right back to there, this morning when I was in the shower,
where you do your best thinking.
Where I do all my best thinking. I went to thinking, I want to do a bigger development. I want to do something a lot bigger, not to the point of the retirement village, just something that I would like to do bigger. And that was in the shower this morning. So even though things have affected, it's not to the point where I'm put off property development, because property development is just a fantastic lifestyle and it's a great way of life and it can help you achieve such amazing things. But I suppose it's really about how you see the things that could be potentially seen as negative, how you let them affect you moving forward.
You want to unpack that a bit?
Well, let's go to the problems that you've had with the over 50s lifestyle block, the problems that I have been having over in WA. Some of those problems have been quite major, and they've impacted us in ways that we don't talk about, but there's publicly. but what we have to do is not let it affect us as people. So we don't want to stop property development. So we choose to see them in a light that's that's happened.
It's on the way.
It's on the way. It's not in the way.
Yeah. Things go slow. Projects get longer. That's It's on the way.
It is on the way. So other things that can help you stay on track is just being aware. Let's look at what the things that you can do to help with your mindset. And it's not just that whole Pollyanna think positively, but it is a little bit. It is a little bit. If you were to wake up every morning and think, well, I have two choices. I can get out of bed and I can take, let's go with the matrix, the red pill or the blue pill. And let's just say the red pill was going to make me have a fantastic day and the blue pill was going to sort of remind me of all the bad stuff that's gone in my life. If you consciously thought, I'm taking that red pill and I'm going to have a fabulous day, if that's your very early thought of the day, perhaps your first, how good would your day be?
Trust me. Good start.
I consciously make an effort in the shower every morning to think, I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to feel really happy today. I plant those seeds in my mind because it's up to us.
There's another thing you do, I know, as well, in that you go through the things you're really thankful for.
Yep. Gratitude every day, 3 things. And they can be small because sometimes, when you wake up and you stub your toe when you get out of bed and then somebody left the ate all the bread, and you couldn't have toast. Not that anyone eats bread, but there can be a few negative things happen. But if you wake up and just constantly either just lie in bed and think about it before you take that imaginary red pill, or if you get up and journal it, which is my favourite, if you write down 3 things you're grateful for, you set your brain up in a way to be looking for good things, and that can only make you feel and be more positive. It's such a good thing to do. I do that, then I actually write down 3 things I did well yesterday, and 3 things I'm going to do. No, that's not true. 1 thing I did well yesterday, and 1 thing I'm going to do better today. So that might be looking at something I could have done a little bit better yesterday and think, I'll do that better today.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're my morning rituals.
Good ones.
They are good ones.
We've got others as well.
We do.
They're the good ones.
They are. Well, Bob and I visualise every morning. Sit down, have our morning coffee, have a chat about our day, and then we have a visualising routine where we just both sit there and picture the things that we want. And it makes you feel good on the inside to start with.
But proper visualisation, not wishful thinking or dreaming.
It's seeing what we want to happen.
Putting emotion into it as well, and understanding and feeling the emotion of what it is that you...
The impact that's had on our life has been amazing. So many things have happened that are like, how on earth did we make that happen? And we made it happen just by visualising. So we have to upgrade it every now and then. Yeah. Because we're ticking off things that we want to happen. So that's the emotional side, the mindset side, and I don't think it can be discounted, Bob. We all have those days where we wake up and we feel like we ate the blue pill, but really we didn't, because... Let's be realistic. Life happens.
Yeah.
Things will be challenging, and whether that's just with property development or whether that's with other areas of your life, there's always going to be something.
Yeah.
And so being able to see that, or being able to choose to not let that impact you to the point where you're totally impacted, almost can't be positive moving forward.
I mean, the measure of a person is how they behave and operate under pressure. Not when everything's rosy and going fantastically.
Yeah.
Anyone can do that. Like can behave or operate well in that environment.
But I think what we need to probably realise is that how I went back to how I started with that, it's a choice. It also becomes a habit. So if you choose every day to feel like that, to feel like it's going to be your best day, to feel like you're going to be happy, if you choose to feel like that, then that becomes a habit. That becomes that person you're just talking about. Because from there, how to stay on track with your property development journey also comes, I know I'm so excited, don't start me, Paul's looking at me like, here we go. No. Also comes self-belief, believing that you can achieve anything you want. You can. Somebody's done it before you, so there is nothing you can't. Do you want to build? Would you like to make your own lifestyle village and have 100 properties in it? Because there was one point that Bob believed that he could do it, and he can do it. Well, this is his 9th one, but when he's on his first one, you had to have a belief that it was possible. And that is our biggest, I'm looking into the camera, so if you're on YouTube, look into my eyes. That is our biggest secret. Once you start to believe that you can achieve whatever it is you want, you can achieve whatever it is you want. It pretty much has to be taken with that red pill in the morning. You have to start telling yourself that you are capable of anything, because you are. And I've coached hundreds and hundreds of people in my time, and the changes that they've had have been enormous. And even personally myself, I was once 100 kilo single mother on a benefit, and I did this. By the time I met Bob, I had already done 22 renovations. I already had my own businesses. I'd owned a manufacturing company, done so much myself. So when you believe that you can, you can. So when we look at property development, if you're at home right now thinking, I want to do property development but I have no money, you have to believe that you can get the money. It doesn't have to be your money. It can be a joint venture. You have to believe that what you want is possible. I know that the keepers will be listening to this going, rah, yeah, Hilary, you're right, we can. It's just having that self-belief that this is possible. And that goes along with taking that red pill, starting to change the way you think, and then putting wee notices around your house to remind you on a regular basis. So that becomes part of who you are, not just something you say like, I'm happy. Like, you need to start believing that you're happy, believing that you can live your best life. Yeah, it is just something so in your control, and it just takes practice and converting it into a habit that I promise you can have what you want. You just have to believe it and stop self-sabotaging. How do you feel about that, Bob?
I feel good. When I had that big smile before, it wasn't just listening to you. I was thinking of that song. You know, today's going to be a good day, or whatever it is. You know, is it Bruno Mars? I can't remember who did it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going to sing it and embarrass myself, but no.
Oh, do
you know,
it.
it's like, today's going to be a good day.
I think it's tonight's going to be.
You know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it might be tonight, is it?
Tonight's going to be a good night.
Because when I had I spent about seven years. Yeah. 7 years with Stewie Siddell, you know, on the tours and that we used to do together, and that was always the punchy song that would bring people back from lunch, and that, you know, so I've heard it so many times, and even if I got the words wrong.
Oh, it's perfect. The thing is, you had the idea, and the song came to your head. That is the power of music. That's another thing you can use to keep yourself on track. If you have something that triggers you to think that, set an alarm on your phone that plays that song every hour until you make it a habit, every 2 hours until it makes it a habit. You know, the song on my alarm in the mornings, I have a few. One of them is Good Vibrations. If I feel like I need to lift my vibration, so I'm, you know, operating at a higher level, because Bob and I can operate at a fairly high level. We can push out some stuff, and that's where we like that sort of thing. But sometimes we get a bit tired. You know, not tired. There are those flat moments. Let's own that. You know, we work at staying on track ourselves on our property development journey. But yeah, mine is the Beach Boys. I think about good vibrations. That's mine. That's my morning alarm.
You're giving me the excitations, girls.
Oh, here we go. So there are plenty of strategies that you can use. It's just, like, I've given away or told you of a few today, and you already probably knew them. It's just about implementing them. Hey.
Yep.
We have to implement, because you might hear
Nike,
things.
do it.
Yeah, exactly. Just do it. Don't think it can't be done, because we know it can.
Oh, we see it in our community all the time as well.
Yeah, and we've seen it with ourselves.
And ourselves. Yeah.
How often, another thing you can do is write down a list of all the amazing things you've done in your life and look back and think, holy heckers. I've done some pretty cool stuff, and it reminds you of how good you are, because you listening right now are really awesome. So, you know, just be reminded of how good you are and that you are capable of so much more.
Yeah.
That's what I see when I coach people, is that they are capable. I see how capable they are. They are just so capable.
I see what happens to them when they finally grasp that.
Oh.
And it's not always immediate, obviously. So, but when they grasp that, the change that occurs.
Yeah.
And I see that. Yeah.
So, staying on track in your property journey, that was the inside part of it, really, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like we've gone through the inside. Other things that you can do to make life easy is like implement really good systems.
Yeah.
And I spoke with one of our mentoring students yesterday, and he's uber busy, like so busy, and that kind of happens. We work with movers and shakers, and sometimes just implementing a few new systems that alleviate some of your work, make things a bit easier.
Well, I remember you helping a friend of ours who's in the real estate industry.
Yes.
Systems in place and big changes.
Yes. Just put some systems in place to just simple business systems that make your life easier and give you back some time. So one, you become more creative, you're more focused. You know, having time back and not feeling under pressure will do so much for your progress forward and help you stay on track on the journey. Because what tends to happen is some people want to do this, and you might be listening, you've been thinking about it for so long, and be honest with yourself. Do you wish you'd started this journey earlier?
No.
You know, had you started it earlier, should you have done something earlier? Could you have done something earlier, or did you always have reasons why you couldn't? So, you know, staying on track with your dream, the goal that you want, comes from having systems in place to allow you the time for a lot of people. And to do that, you've got to limit your distractions and being aware of how you can do that. I did a fabulous training on Monday night about distractions with our mentoring student, just how to eliminate them and see the ones that are impacting your life. And once you gain that time back, that time can be used, as I said, for space, for creativity, for staying on track, for all sorts of things.
Yeah, unclutter that head.
Yes. So how do you feel, Bob? Have we covered enough
I think so.
On how to stay on track on your property development journey?
There's a few good nuggets in there from you, as always.
Wake up and take the red pill.
Mm-hmm.
And that red pill is telling you to have a fabulous day, be super happy, and believe that you're capable of anything you put your mind to. And I think that's the best tip of the day.
Yep.
And there's a few other morning routines we put in there. They're up to you. All right. Well, this week, should we cap it there?
Yeah.
Okay. Giving away the book to Trevita. And Trevita called me this week, got such a surprise. Well, he sent me an email and I actually just called him because it was easier than typing back. And he does some work in this space and helping people feel good and mindset work. But anyway, Trevita, it was great to talk to you this week. I'll have to now text you and get your address. We're going to send this out. And remember, page 121, all about the property development journey.
Yep.
All right, people, bit of a rant from Hilary this week, but I hope it sort of gets you over the line to think, yes, I got this. If you're interested in learning more about property development, we've got our free masterclass. We would love for you to join us. We would talk to you about Bob, really. You can learn a bit about how he educates people. It has been said numerous times, many times, by people who have done so many courses that it is Australia's best property development course. So Bob talks through the stages of property development, and then he'll talk to you about the programs we offer. We always have 100% stay-on rate, so that's a good sign. When people come onto our masterclass, they don't jump off. So we give away some great content for you. And if you're interested in just learning more about property development in general, check out propertymastermind.com.au courses, and you're welcome to have a chat with me about it. Anyway, we're there, Bob.
Good.
There goes episode.
The red pill's working.
The red pill has worked. Episode 93 done. We will catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.